Da 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 da. What's my good cheer? And what's my good cheer? I'm somebody who gives energy. I don't normally take energy, but being a YouTube creator and being on YouTube for over 10 years and consistently showing up, oh my goodness, for the past couple of years here on YouTube every single day, almost at least 6 days a week. It has become embedded in me out of consideration for my cat. My cat passed away today. We had to put her down. It was terrible. It was terrible, right? And I can't hold on to things, and I could have kept her and done my very best to keep her comfortable, but that's all I would be doing is trying to keep her comfortable. And it was time, and I I'm not sure if I handled it very well. I'm allowing myself to be a little bit dense tonight, a little bit spacey. I'm just doing small chores and throwing out her furniture I just want to get. I don't want to erase her, right, from from my memory, but at the same time, I don't want to have shrineage going on, right? I want to have amazing memories, and I want to be able to see the good things that come out of, right, what doesn't work well, right? What doesn't work out the way that we plan. Hello, Kathy. We put meatball down. We put meatball down this afternoon. It was kind of a situation. I wasn't sure if I was going to come in live tonight, but I walked home from the vet and like I said, I allowed myself to get really spacey, to kind of have that heaviness on me and allow myself to kind of choke a little bit on the experience. Everything like these kind of things go really fast when they go into motion, and they're always things that take us by surprise. And uh, thank you. Thank you, Kathy. Both my sisters came with me this afternoon. It was beautiful. It was scary. It was heartbreaking. It showed me at my most weakest. But I'm okay. I'm okay, right? With allowing myself to be human. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Right? And these are human experiences, and these are pets. At one time we looked at these animals as just food or predators, or right? And as much as we're evolving, they're evolving with us. And I do believe, right, the cats and the dogs that we love so much, that we make as our best friends, that somehow they make their way back to us. I don't know if I'm going to do any more pets, right? I am a cat girl, number one, so it would have to be a cat. And if I'm putting those goals and those dreams and those wishes out there to the universe, then probably not a good environment, the one that I for the life that I want to leave. or lead. I want to go off for days at a time. I want to go off out into the deserts and stuff. She'd have to be left in a RV, hopefully. Right? My dreams don't stop. I consistently move forward, and moving forward is what makes things a little bit better, right? Right, because we can so easily fall back into ourselves, fall back into, right, that noisy me, or here we go again, right? I Yeah, we could always think that, but when you grow up, you kind of tend to second guess yourself. And this is the thing, about letting people go and saying goodbye, or not getting a chance to say goodbye, right? That we kind of beat ourselves up, and we do that what ifs, and I should have, or I could have done better. But again, you could just say, right, I'm only human, right? I handled it the best that I could for the circumstances that I was in. Maybe I was a little bit selfish. Maybe I could have put her down earlier, right? She was managing, but even the doctor said that, like, she had no oxygen, right? She was just living on pure love, right? I'm so glad that this was Friday, because tomorrow I don't come online. That's why I didn't hesitate about coming live tonight. Today would have been a good day to, right, let myself off the hook. But it is an experience that I'm sharing, and it shouldn't be a scary thing. And if you see how I am now, and then see how I am next week, and then the week after, and right, and things could get worse, but things could get better too, right? Things can get better. And I'm moving. I walked in from, it was so cold today, Kathy. Kathy, it was so cold. It was in the minuses today. It snowed slush last night, but it was so cold today, and I needed to go for a walk. So I walked home from the vet, and everybody drove home, insisting that they were going to drive me home. I said, no, I'm going to walk. And then I took a long direction around, just to be reflection over the whole experience, with fresh air in an open environment where I feel safe, and I feel comfortable with myself, right? So I did it, but my hands were cold. I even grabbed a cup of coffee, knowing I was going to go for a walk, right? I says, okay, we're going to grab a coffee, we're going to go for a walk. And it was cold. Oh my goodness. It was so cold. But that's, right, an experience that's over. When they talk about, not dwelling in the experiences, like, you don't have to, I don't have to go back, right? It wasn't a pleasant experience in any way, right? It was something that I moved through, but I allowed myself to experience, to with kind of withdraw from it the reasoning, right? And the feelings that I was having. I was allowing myself, right? I wasn't allowing myself. I couldn't help myself. It was kind of bad, right? Trying to get the information even out to the receptionist. I could never do their job. Oh my goodness, there were two of them. I could never do their job. Oh, yeah. But that hospital, I've had 3 cats now go to that hospital at the end of their lives. Like I said, I think it's 5 or 6 cats now that I've had. Right. I love cats, and it was telling my sister today, of all my cats, this was the sweetest, like the sweetest of cats. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. And especially Tracy just got out of the hospital. She's still in recovery. She looks pretty good though. Like she looks like her medications are kicking in. She got some antibiotics because she had some kind of uh, byproduct kind of symptom that came from it, some kind of inflammation, or what was it? It had something to do with her breathing or something. Oh no, that was a cold that my other sister gave to her. Right, and she's recovering now. She's trying to beat down a cold. I'm going to take care of myself. I've got the shivers, but I know it's super hot in here. So I set the temperature. I'm going to leave the temperature and let the heater kick in when it hits that temperature. I'm going to have a nice bath. I'm going to get into nice, clean, fluffiest, cuddliest pajamas that I've got already folded and ready to go. And yeah, tomorrow I'm just going to do house projects, and I'm not going to try to think too much about it. I'm not going to allow myself to be doped out on my own. I don't even know what it is. It's almost like a little tranquilizer that I'm giving myself. I'm just allowing myself to just kind of space out, zone out on the whole experience today, right? And then I'm just gonna I do everything in baby steps. It's the only way. I can't imagine getting smacked in the face today with the experience that I had. So I'm just gonna digest it my way, and within a few days, I'm gonna feel so much better. And then a few weeks, right? We're moving on to new things. What? I don't know. I have a few ideas, and guys know I'll share it as I start moving into it. But Kathy, so much for your kindnesses. I'm not a big prayer, but you can imagine the past few days I've been doing quite a bit of talking to someone. And yeah, I threw a little good cheer out for you, Kathy. That was so amazing. That was a lesson just in itself, to recognize that, people really do care, right? That was pretty awesome. But yeah, so tonight I thought we're just gonna come in. We're gonna do a card. We're just gonna do it first thing that comes into my mind. And if it has something to do with the cat, it has something to do with the cat. It's my channel, my prerogative. And if you're kind enough to sit through it just for today, I can guarantee you come Monday it will be so much better. I know it will be so much better. I have tomorrow. I'm not online at all tomorrow. And then on Sunday night, I might have a little moment, but I might be feeling a little bit better. But I'm just playing the moments, right? Just riding the waves, and managing I'm managing just fine. Okay, if you don't know the scoop here, 54 powerful words. They're just powerful words, and they mean different things to each one of us. When I pop this card up, you'll probably, oh my goodness, right? but you'll run with the word in a different direction than maybe I'll run with it. It's in the experiences that we're having in the exact moment. Maybe it's jogging a memory of an amazing experience or relationship or impactful conversation. But whatever it is, right? It's going to hit you. That is the perception. That's the first thing. And if it's the first thing that comes to the surface, right? It's the most important thing. So it's worth giving a little bit of attention to. It doesn't have to be a lot. I'm a big believer in baby steps. If all you can digest is a crumb off of that cracker, right? That's amazing because I have 54 powerful words, and in 54 days, the chances are you're going to come across that card again, that powerful word again, and you'll be able to experience it differently in consideration of where you are in that moment, right? Okay, I hope that makes sense. Oh my goodness. Well, that was pretty good that I came in and was able to do my live. I thought that was pretty awesome. I didn't want to be I didn't want to be all sad. I didn't want to be bawling my eyes out. I didn't want that heaviness to be right because it doesn't need to be that way. We've had enough for today. And like I said, believing in baby steps, you could put that stop on it right there. It's kind of what pops into my mind right now is Jordan Peterson, uh, with his daughter, Michaela, with like she had really serious, painful conditions when she was a little kid. And it was so bad, and all his focus, like he said, he was really lucky because him and his wife were at home, and so they were able to tend to her throughout the day and everything. But they had set this rule that 8 o'clock, that was it, like that, right? Michaela would have to, right, all on her own, because that's as much as the family as an entirety could could manage to take on without being pulled under themselves, right? And so I think that shut off switch that I put in, you know, just kind of allows me to do that because I've kind of reached my capacity of being able to manage too much more. Um, uh, it also was coming into my mind is those job interviews that I used to take, especially the ones when I was really younger, because I was pretty scared. I was pretty shy. I was pretty terrified of people. And I'd go for job interviews because I needed money, right? And I say it like that because I needed the money for things that weren't good for me, that weren't serving me very well, but because I had learned to cope with them. So we're talking chocolate bars and pop and pastries or whatever else babysitting money would make, or right, my job at Wendy's, my Wendy's, it was my first official job. I did a few jobs before that, kind of under the table, but that was my first job in my career. Started in hospitality. I always liked the hospitality, but I remember going back to these interviews that, in my capacity, because I was so afraid with a job interviews. Even to this day, the most terrifying thing that I could possibly think to have to experience. And I really, really just, just terrified of job interviews. And and I would have a twitch. I would have this terrible twitch that would go on in my lips, and I couldn't control it. And then I also had one that kind of was my eyebrow and my eyelid would kind of do the twitching dance too. And even the managers or whoever was interviewing in at the time would always in the moment say, "Oh, what's with that?" And I never understood it, right? I didn't know what it was, but I knew it had something to do with the amount of stress that I was under because it never happened in any, sometimes, in class or something when teacher wants me to stand up and do something or say something, but I did. I had these nervous kind of spasms. They weren't twitches. They would just kind of go. They would just kind of go off, and I couldn't control them. Right. Sometimes I could put my hands up and stuff, but it's not kind of punctual. It's not kind of good etiquette when you're in for a job interview. But the reason I'm talking about that is because that was my body's signal to me that I was at my very highest level of capacity. That's all I could, but I didn't have any tools in that day to help bring myself down. I just had to go into that lion's den and just hope that I came out at the other end. And I always did come out at the other end, but I think because of those experiences, that it just compounded. And now job interviews, oh my goodness, and I'm going to be back into them, you guys. Oh, okay, you guys, so let's grab a card. One powerful word, just go into it for a couple of minutes. It's just like, did we pull the card? oh, oh my goodness, have we got this card, you guys? The serendipities in when I'm pulling these cards, and just how often they show up sometimes, right? Just perfect timing. And sometimes these cards, like within 2 weeks, will show up three times. That's kind of a high percentage, right? To me, that's kind of giving me a lesson, right? Sending me a message. But you guys, look at the word we got today. Movement. Movement is an action that gravitates to a result. We got this earlier this week, right? I need to just keep moving. I'm just, right? First thing that came on my mind, of course, right? I'm moving forward. I'm not moving backwards. And, we got struggles, hiccups, wrenches, heartbreaks, grief. We got all of that crap, right? Right? And that's the human part of us, unfortunately. Unfortunately, right? If we're not aware, if we're not able to calm our system down, right? Stop ourselves from having those twitches and getting to those last little specks of capacity that we can hold in before we're just gonna faint or something, right? That I've never fainted. I've never fainted. But I didn't know what that was either, right? Like, all I knew is it had something to do with stress, but I didn't know that it was because that was my body signaling to me that I was at the capacity of really where I'm supposed to be, right? If I'm there, I'm probably a little bit further than where I should be, right? You're kind of pushing the boundaries. It's like when you're getting ready to, you know, when you're training for the Olympics, you gotta make sure that your body is just toned and perfectly right. But sometimes in that pursuit of the gold medal, we end up having leg issues and spasms and right. And these are just things to consider. I don't know. Babbling away now. I'm just happy I got through, right? I thought this was going to be super hard, right? It wasn't super easy, but it wasn't super hard, right? Movement is an action that gravitates to the result. I wanted to come in here tonight, no frills, express what I needed to express, not be too heavy on anybody who wanted to pop in and hang out with me for a few minutes. And that's what I managed to do. And I think for myself, that's something I might not have been able to do. I know I wouldn't have been able to do that. I would have been so out of it. Oh my goodness, right? Let my emotions take me away and I would just be useless, right? Sometimes for months, sometimes for years, in all honesty. Yeah. Okay, you guys. That's it for me tonight. I'm going to go have a bath. Nice, warm, fluffy, cozy pajamas, right? Make myself a cup of tea now or something cold to drink and call it a night. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Thank you, Kathy. Aw, thank you. Thank you. See you Sunday, you guys. I have tomorrow off, but I'll be back here Sunday night with Chatters Live, 7:30 Central, a couple minutes here or there. I'm in. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you.